Recording in progress.
Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to open February 21st. Education Committee meeting, did not have a meeting in January due to lack of quorum. Therefore, election of officers will be this evening. I am Holly Posterman. I am the temporary chairman until a chairman is elected. That being said, do we have any nominations for chairman of the Communications Committee for 2024?
I'd like to nominate Kevin Shelley.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Kevin. You are now chairman of the Communications Committee.
Thank you, Holly, and thank you, fellow committee as well. Before we move forward with our next elections, I just want to say as well, I feel strongly that no matter what role you have on this committee, everybody here has been very impactful for our community, and I appreciate everybody, so thank you. With that, our next position that we would have to elect is a vice chairman. Do we have any nominations for vice chairperson?
I'd like to nominate Jean Campbell.
Dean Campbell. Do we have a second? A second. John seconded as well. Do we have any other nominations? Okay. All in favor for Dean Campbell to be vice chairman of the Communications Committee, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Dean, congratulations.
Thank you
for your service as well. Our next order of business is to elect a secretary. Of course, we want a secretary who keeps great notes and is always consistent there. I know of a few, and I was wondering if anybody would like to nominate anybody here for that role of secretary.
I'd like to nominate John Del Pizzo.
Sure, no one else? Do we have a second? Secretary. Yes, second. And any other nominations? All in favor of nominating John Del Pizzo to secretary for the Communications Committee, please indicate saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Done. Thank you very much. And I guess I should have asked you both, do you accept these roles? Which I hope you do as well. Thank you, and thank you both. And thank you, Terry, and thank you, Jessica. We get a pay raise? Double amount. That's amazing. Well, thank you, everybody, again. Welcome to our first official meeting of 2024 of the Communication Committee. Our next order of business is to approve the minutes from the December 2023 meeting. Everybody did have an opportunity to look at them. It should be in front of you as well. Does anybody have any questions or comments or suggested edits for the minutes? Okay. Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the minutes? It's posted. Thank you, Jean. Second? Second, John. Thank you. All in favor of approving the minutes from December 2023, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Thank you very much. Our next order is to call for public discussion for visitors' comments. We do offer this to any members of the public, any members online, as well as any members of the committee. To always feel free to offer any public suggestions or any comments in regards to what we do as a committee as well. And with that, I'd like to open up public discussion. Does anybody have anything? All right, seeing none at this time, we're going to move on. Thank you. Whole business. It's hard to believe it's another year, but we do have our wonderful Township Quick Reference Guides. It's in front of everybody. As we know, we have put this together. For those of you who might be watching, it's a wonderful guide for any member of the community visiting, or especially residents, to take a look and see what kind of things our township offers, what kind of scout troops we have on here. We have information about the library, our pool, how to get involved with the local folk life, the fire company, and additional links as well. We did talk to discuss last month. Or December, I should say, we did all take a little assignment to make sure that these numbers are still up to date. These are a lot of volunteer organizations. And everybody's had a moment to look it over. If anybody has any comments or like to have any discussions on this, floor is open.
Was this taking a copy of something? Oh, because it's like a little blurry and hard to read.
Right.
We're sending it out to residents. We have a better,
We will make sure it's a better copy. When we send it out. This is
Or something.
this is simply for our reference here, but I think what I should have said as well, great questions. Thank you, but the highlighted versions are the new edits as well that we do have, which is version 2, which is to let people know. We updated, I don't have the old one in front of me, but the North Penn YMCA Early Childhood Center, as well as adding, we included the landlord tenant questions with the Attorney General number. So they're the only changes that we have made. Good question. It will be a better quality, and definitely will make sure this is just the rough draft, as we can say. Any other comments? With that, I think this looks great. I think, again, thank you, everybody, for all the input for the first one. The design is good, and I think it's fixed. So thank you all for contacting as well. I guess we can make a motion to approve the version 2. If we want to make a motion for this, I can make a motion that we approve Lower Salford Township Quick Reference Guide version 2 as posted in front of us. Thank you, Gene. Second, all in favor of approving the new version of the Township Quick Reference Guide, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, ayes have it. Thank you, everybody. Good work on this, and I think this is I have heard a couple comments from a couple residents that said they have found this helpful. Hopefully, you guys have all heard that as well. And I think it's a wonderful thing to have, particularly for new residents. Which brings us on to our next order of business, which is our resident welcome letter packet. Oh, actually, before we get to that, excuse me. I think the next thing we should do is discuss how we can distribute version 2, so. Pardon me there. As still excited to be the chairman here, so new chairman is the new review here. But yes, we do want to discuss our distribution of this. And with that, I can open up the floor. I know my one thing I wanted to add for this, my notes was, you know, the first thing I think is the obvious that we can make, once we have this officially, print up a nicer copy, print a nice copy of this, and make sure we have them at the vestibule and up on the door and all the typical places we have. In the past, we also reached out to different organizations that I know, the fire company, Letter Rock Golf Club, anybody, you know, to make sure if they had it up. And I think it's worthwhile to revisit that as well. And again, I open up the floor to any other discussion for distribution.
So do we want to request a certain number be printed and then for dropping off bundles? I mean, not big bundles, but bundles at some of those same locations, or just let it kind of trickle out, the new version trickle out as needed. Or some, I think it's part of our intended new resident package.
Right.
But it seems to me that the big question in my mind is do we actively distribute it some way, or just kind of have it available, let it, you know, trickle out as needed?
I think, and I'm glad you mentioned the new resident package, because that's the other thing I was going to mention as well. I know we're going to discuss, you know, ways that we can make this electronically available and stuff as well. That being said, anybody have any thoughts on this? But I could add some more thoughts to his reply, but I'll open it up to anybody else first before I add more to what John said. Ideas?
I guess we never really went back and see how many people posted it that we had sent to the businesses. So it's hard to say if, like, if they didn't post it, would it be a waste of time even to give them another copy, give them a paper copy? And is there some way, maybe if we have a list of those places, we can email them and ask them if they want additional copies?
Perhaps, and the campus goes by. Another thing too, I kind of like the idea of, you know, perhaps let's print it out, let it kind of trickle now and explore what we can do with that. But I do like following up with that as well. Simply walking into some of the businesses as well. I haven't really seen any out. We got those out. Did we get those out, Holly? The letters?
Personally, not sent them.
Okay, which levy, the ones to the businesses like last year. Correct. Some,
It's not. Right, not sent them.
okay. We can re-explore that. And I think for the time being though, what we should focus on is again, getting them out. Available to the residents, perhaps dropping a few off at our, at the, residential facilities. As we said, we weren't sure how to call that, but the different apartments and whatnot too, so people can kind of go down and grab them if need be. But I think the first start is definitely print them up and put them up there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I recall that on an individual voluntary basis, when, like, I took some over and I posted them at the Y
Yes,
location and the daycare center, and, you know, so we did hit.
and I think that's what I was originally referencing when I said that with the
Yeah.
firehouse and stuff like
Right,
that. I remember that
right.
was the one I had there. So I think that's definitely worthwhile exploring, especially, in fact, team, thank you. You know, great point. It's just maybe everything that's involved on here. I think that's what we did, say it out loud. Obviously, there might not be a physical location for the scouts. But we know we might be able to give some, I could see if Supervisor Canavan would take some, he has access to go to scout cabin. Make sure
Right.
we have some there. And it's worthwhile, I think, if we can individually maybe bring one again to these facilities, if we want to explore that. Any other suggestions? I think that's a good start, yes.
The township has been doing fire inspections to every single business.
Mhm.
I can just hand a big chunk of them to the fire inspector and he can drop one off.
That's a great idea, Holly. That's fantastic idea.
We also invoice everyone for the fire inspection.
Okay.
And it's gonna be yearly, so it's not like it's something we can't continue to do.
Right.
He will make it to every single business in this township, so it would be a really easy way to get something to every single business.
That's a fantastic idea. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Does the fire inspector? Fire inspector to do
Yeah,
that?
the fire inspector,
Okay,
fire code inspector. Like he's inspecting fires, he's inspecting businesses to make sure they're up to go, yeah.
Self-fulfilling if we have, especially false alarms. We have volunteer organizations, we don't want to waste precious time on false calls. Yeah, I think that's a great
fantastic
idea.
idea.
I know that that's been happening already, but it's.
As things
It'll continue.
if it's been a year since.
It'll eventually.
You have to go again, and eventually, within a year of time. And if there's somebody new in that building, at the state, get another one, you know, the next time you go, if there's something new there, and the property is changed hands or something.
Great, it's a really great idea.
Okay. I think that's something we can definitely, now, should we make that a agenda item? It's not, or is that something we can explore even perhaps off here, you know, if I were to. Something that we can do.
I can just say something to Joe tomorrow and just give them to the fire inspector.
That's good.
Okay.
Well, I can mark, that's a big check mark to how to get some out there as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, it will not be all at once.
Understand.
Right, but
But that's a great way to start circulating. That's really. Good. Have them out there. Wonderful. Thanks again for that. Great idea. Okay, so I like that. I also like, and right back to possibly seeing if we want to hand these out, might be, you know, for a great, if we don't mind, you know, I don't mind saying, hey, a great personal reach out, particularly since we have their businesses on here. And I should emphasize, they're not businesses, but organizations.
Mhm.
And that said, any other suggestions for distribution for now? I think we have some good way to start it.
Yeah.
Circulating.
And I mean, and reach the residents within the one. What? I can see.
I've been to too many rock concerts.
Yeah, that reaches going through the code inspector reaches all the businesses.
Correct.
And we reach the residents, right, via the one newsletter, right?
Two newsletters. I just realized that the Indian Valley Today also put our quick reference guide in. It's been in twice in Indy Valley today, which goes to everybody in this area, not just Lower Salford.
Right.
But it continues to be in the newsletter as a QR code.
Right.
We have like 3 or 4 QR codes in our newsletter that's twice a year. You know, if people can't find us, I really think it's because they don't want to find us. You know? Right? Just a thought, but yeah.
So, yeah, that's how we'll follow up in there, the finals.
Yep.
Right.
Wonderful.
So it seems that we're covered both businesses and residents.
I think so. And I think it is worthwhile if we can, do you want to punch these out right now? If anybody wants to take, or if anybody says, if you're going to the Y, if you want to take one again to the Y. I know I can cover the scouts by, keep that off. And I don't even mind taking some of these as well.
I have another thought,
Please.
only because I've done this specifically for several people. We had several residents come in from Peter Becker community because they are so close to our township line. They're like right on the township line.
Mhm.
A lot of people still think they are in Lower Salford. And a lot of people who have moved from Lower Salford into Peter Becker, and then they don't get any of our communication or anything because they're not in our township border. It's actually, I've been sending newsletters, snail mail to several people at Peter Becker. Every time they come out, I have a list of people that have requested them. It might be a really good idea to take a chunk of them to the Peter Becker community.
I think that's a great thing to add.
Yeah.
It's really is great, literally on the border.
Arbors, it's them.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it'd be nice if Peter Becker could get them too. Only because they're hop, skip, and jump from our township.
Absolutely. Just literally go for a walk. Great idea. I thank you for that. So I think it's worthwhile again to and again, I don't want to go too much on that, but to drop these off at all the locations. Again, I wouldn't even mind doing that on a single afternoon. There you go, and I'd be happy to do that once they're printed as well. So, but I will definitely add Peter Becker to that. And figure, dozen or two, at each location, I think would suffice, and if we let them know they can always reach out for more. They've been appreciative of that. Back to our list, wise, we have scouts, encore experiences. I want to drop that off, or we kind of probably can do that with our public works right there as well. So I think the township could handle that one, make sure they have a copy. I wouldn't mind taking the library because I know my kids have told me tonight when they asked if they could bring their books back, I said we can go tomorrow night because we have a meeting, so I wouldn't mind taking that one of them up. Golf club, I think we have covered. Community center, we have access to as well. We can make sure Advisor Kraus can get that one in there. And the YMCA. Anybody frequent the YMCA? Fantastic.
I can do that.
And the watershed conservancy, we should be able to do, we can hand one out with township as well, not a problem. Heckler Folklife, I can make sure we send them an email too. Attorney General, I think would be okay, but fire company, we can make sure, I mean, they're not printed now, but when we do have representatives from the fire company at each of our monthly meeting, I think we can make sure they have one. So,
Okay. Now, there'll be get a better copy of that.
Absolutely.
To distribute.
this is our rough, should we approve it or not?
Okay,
Perfect. Now we can get that out there. I think for now, this is a wonderful way to start getting it out there. As I said, I think it looks great. It really makes very few details. Hopefully people will think to look version 2. One question I have, as I say this out loud, just thinking now, should we put it here? Since it's version 2, it's 2024, because if you're new to the township, it's no indication if it's version 3, version 7, version 8. Just a thought. I don't know if we want to do that. Should we keep? I say we still keep version 2. Let's put 2024 perhaps. Is that okay to add?
sure.
Holly, we can do that. we'll be able to do that then, and we're gonna fix that up there first.
Yeah.
No, no worries, I just want.
So I'm going to get them the updated information and they'll do the PDF to send it over.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Fine on that.
And this would be available, the copy that we'll want to hand out to be posted will be available at what point in time? In other words, when would I get one to take to?
Good question, when will these be available?
Out to them.
That's what I figured, as soon as we know, I can.
All right.
I'll add that as a sub note under my name.
Thank you. Alright. Any other,
Who was covering the scouts?
Supervisor Canavan is a. Yeah, I wrote his name down for that. I'll make sure I give him a copy, so I have Supervisor Canavan on that. The township for Encore, the public works is there.
Right, there's he's supervisor for both scout groups.
Good question, actually. I'm not sure if he would know who to contact for the Girl Scouts. Great point, because I know definitely the Boy Scouts and I just put them both together there. Apologies. Does anybody here happen to be involved in the Girl Scouts?
Just say on our website.
Yeah, I know it's on our website. We could definitely reach out to them, and see if they have a specific place that's. That could just be, we have the reference right here. We have the phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah, does anybody want to reach out to them?
I can reach.
Appreciate it. And if they have any place that they want to put in a physical copy. Even just send them an electronic one.
Yeah.
About whatever the preference. Thank you. So then, yes, just to review, we should do that again there. Encore will be the township. The library, I will take a copy too. Golf club, also the township. The community center, Supervisor Kraus is involved with the community center and. Sure, he'll get one up for us. The YMCA will be.
Oh.
Yep. Thank you. The Watershed Conservancy, the township works with. Can send the information to. The Heckler Plains, I can send that, or the township was, I do remember. Well, the fire company, I will make sure as they're printed that we can get them there at the first of the month. And that should cover it.
Okay, good.
That's everything. Any other comments on that? Thank you. Which brings us to our resident welcome packet and letter. For anybody just joining or watching, one thing that we have been discussing over the past last year, I should say, when we discussed our last meeting, says the idea of a welcome packet for new residents and really, I guess anybody could, once we just get it electronically, could visit a site and learn more about our township, but particularly guide to new residents moving into our township. In the past, we have discussed last time ways that we can identify them. One of the first things we want to discuss tonight is our new resident welcome letter. In front of everybody, we have a copy or two of the welcome letter. And what we did is we put together a letter. We came up with ideas, things that we felt we would want, that a resident would want to see in the new packet. And we sent it to our chairman, Chairman Berkman, who did look it over and added, in my opinion, a great edit to make it even more personal. And we have a copy of that in front of us. I can read the letter if we want here, for the sake of, I guess, for the sake of anybody watching, or you can read as well. It's dear new resident and neighbor, on behalf of the Lower Salford Township Board of Supervisors, let me offer a heartfelt welcome to Lower Salford Township and our community, Gemeinschaft. As I extend this greeting, we would encourage you to check out all that Lower Salford Township has to offer. Below are a few points of contact that you may find helpful as you transition into the community. These are communication channels from which you can receive or access additional information about the community. Text message alerts, Receive township updates and or emergency alerts to devices of your choice. Example, road closures, township meetings, and other events. ReadyMonco.org. Constant contact. Receive township updates twice a month via email with special updates as needed. Lower Salford Constant Contact sign up. And of course, we can have a QR code option there as well. Township website, your complete self-serve resource for township related information. Our website written out form and a link with a QR code if we'd like. Residential request portal allows you to make requests for services or to report concerns. Lower Salford Township request portal QR code. Again, welcome to the community. We are delighted that you have chosen to live in Lower Salford Township. You should need the resources. Heed, I believe that is the resources of the township. And you should need the resource of the township. Please feel free to contact us. Keith Bergman, Chairman, Lower Salford Township Board of Supervisors. And course enclosures, township quick reference, and township. Yes, any comments? I like it.
I like it. One comment.
Yes,
If we're providing the website address, I don't know if we need the QR code. I'm only saying this to keep it all on one page.
I like that idea, but at the same time, I think we want to keep it accessible for
Okay.
people who might. I would assume, and I don't want to assume, but I think it's a safe bet that somebody might look at it and say, what the heck is that stain on there, you know? And that's fine, whereas others might just take out the phone right away. I get it too, but I think with having both, maybe we could put them at a different location. So it would look a little nicer. Because you're right, once we kind of square, it's not going to be as, horizontal as that per se. We want more of a square.
But I agree with Jess, we should keep it to one page.
Yes, I definitely agree with one page. Perhaps, and you make a good point, Jess, that would definitely alter the way they look, and I want to keep them there. I don't know how.
Our cubes can be pretty small.
Yeah,
And size,
and they still work, so I have to say. It's pretty small.
but yeah, you're suggesting, I mean.
Well, and it's just another
off the
option,
bottom, too.
1, 2, 3, You could just have a square and then right underneath it, what it is, where it is. It's just an idea,
Yeah.
on the top, bottom, I think it would be appropriate on the bottom to kind of get people to read. Jean or Terry, any thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, I'm okay with the lining them up close to the bottom.
That might be easier to scan too.
Yeah.
Perhaps,
Yeah,
it could be easier on the eyes.
Did you want to put our township email in here? Township or Salford Township.org?
Should we, yes, because this is more to go towards, this is not the communication committee.
I don't think
I think,
Is this going on letterhead that already has it or something?
It's not on. It's not. The email's not.
Is the phone number? No. Phone number. Okay, I knew there was some conversation.
perhaps, yeah, and perhaps we could put right underneath Lower Salford Township Board of Supervisors, just an email. Right there, as if it was part of the signature. Would that suffice? One, does this committee feel we should put an email on there? I don't think it would hurt to put an email on there.
It's nice to.
Okay, especially if that's primary form of communication that somebody wants to.
Something that might, many people's preference.
So that said, any suggestions or other suggestions where to put it?
The email address?
Yep, or are we okay with right underneath the Lower Salford Township Board of Supervisors? So sure. Perfect. Thank you, Holly.
And we're agreed that QR codes will go across the bottom. Or at the bottom.
I like that. I guess the same, I would assume the same order, left to right. Thank you, Jess, for that point as well. This is great input. Do we have any other suggestions or comments on the letter? Clarify what we did add is QR codes rather than have them. Just rereading what we have here. Is it redundant to rewrite Lower Salford Township resident request portal on the fourth one down if we're going to take the QR code off?
Yeah.
So I think that's there to indicate here it is there. I think the portal address would be super, super long, I'm guessing.
Right. The other thing is too, all of these things are easily linked through the website. Go to the website and on the homepage, you can click and become an email rep, subscriber, or you can click and get into the resident request portal. I mean, everything's available via the website. So if you were to say, resident request portal, via the township website or something like that, if you didn't want to put in a QR code, just a thought. Put a reminder,
No, I like that. I like the QR code.
everything's on the website.
No, absolutely. And I think that's, that's really what we want, the objective. We want people to understand that it is on the website and available. I think having the QR code might entice someone to try it out a little differently rather than hit that click. I just know, I know I've seen other people walking by, even comments. It was a relative of mine recently, just scanning everything. So you're scanning everything. Yeah, I like to scan them. So, I don't know if that's the Lord, but that could work as well. But no, I do appreciate that though as well, Holly. We appreciate the website. That's really what we're trying to emphasize. But I think we probably could remove that second Lower Stafford Township Resident Request Portal unless we want to replace that with QR below. But then somebody might feel left out. They don't. I'm okay crossing that out if that's okay.
What about the Lower Southwick Concept sign up then too?
Yeah, I think so. Any other comments on that? You to agree with that as well? And my thought is we had that there to show what the QR code is. Without the QR code, we'd just be repeating what the top bracket says.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, I think it's still worthwhile keeping the township's website as we discussed there too. All right, so the final changes, if we all agree then as well, is to cross off the Lower Salford Constant Contact sign up, which was the reference to the QR code. The Lower Salford Township Resident Request Portal QR code reference. To add township email underneath Lower Salford Township Board of Supervisors. And to place the 3 QR codes across the bottom. I'm good with everybody else? Any questions or comments? Very good. I can kind of see everybody else's papers, kind of just drew them the same way, QR, so. That's there, very good. Now, discuss potential recommendations for a new resident website landing page. Yeah, I did reach out to our IT and to Holly. I actually saw Michael this morning and forgot to ask him, but Holly, do you know, I don't know if you received my email today as well. Do you know the 3 questions I think I had was, is that something we are capable of? What, is there any additional cost that the township would incur? And how much time would that take to have? And what we were looking for is a website, a new resident website landing page. Something perhaps that they could just sign on this QR code and get all the information they need right there.
Hatfield has one. Have you seen theirs?
I know we've looked at it, I feel.
I don't know if it was
For a while, don't remember.
Speaking of course of doing this.
We get
it too.
Yeah, we did look at a few.
Okay. I mean, we're signed up for everybody's emails, like from other townships and stuff, so we get Hatfield a couple times a month, maybe once, sometimes once a month. It's not as regulated as ours is, like we're the 1st and the 15th, it's just easier for me to do it that way. But they have one, and what they've done is I can easily do it. I can just create a new page, add it at the top of the website that says new residents, whatever. And we talk about a landing page, it's just a new page. And then just pull things out of the website that you would want on there and just link them and take them to that page. I mean, it's really just about creating something for a new resident to look at That way they don't have to scroll through the website. Do you know what I'm saying? It's about them
Yeah.
making it easier for them to like to link and say, because like I was thinking about this today when I saw your email. Our contacts and links page has utilities. It has everything is on there. There's links to other things. So really taking that page is a very, and then expanding on it for new residents. Timeframe, no idea. Only because I could give you like maybe a time frame in hours if I had like 3 or 4 solid days, if that's what I did. But other things happen, so to know how quickly I could get it done, it might be a week, it might be 2, it might be 3. But it's something that can absolutely be done easily. It's really just about maneuvering the website and putting things in different places that people aren't used to looking, that type of thing. So, yeah.
And where it's not incorporated into this, and I think this letter is good to go as is. And doing this over a period of months, like with, okay, we draft something, we look at it, maybe we, I mean, even this letter took us 3 months.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I think same thing. I mean, as long as we can do it and, we can kind of do it over the next 3 months. I think that works.
I think he makes a great point. It's not, and that what I meant by time, again, wasn't that we were on a time frame, but I didn't wanna, take your time, how much,
Yeah,
if it
I was
was
just
worthwhile
thinking-
doing or not while
The
doing.
other thing is too, as we go back and forth with it. I would be hesitant to even create a page until I had everything that was needed to be on it, so it wasn't a partially completed page, if we're going back and forth in this meeting. Okay, I can now do this, if I can I would want to have that whole process all hammered out.
Right.
Before I started to create the page, the actual page, knowing what my goal is or what my direction is. So, if y'all can look at the Hatfield website, and under their new resident page, there is a graphic, and then underneath the graphic is a list of its table of contents. Hatfield has quite a few things we do not. They have an aquatic center, they have memberships, so they have all kinds of things. So there will be things that will not apply to us. But if you go through that list and just see if there's something, like if there's things on there like, oh, that sounds good, that sounds good. And maybe bring those to me, like email those to me. Don't wait for a meeting. Just email them to me. And we can start going from there, and I can start creating a table of contents, pulling stuff out of the website. And then having a good clear direction, adding the page and dumping it all in there.
And I think that was the general idea that we were trying to do as well. We wanted to make sure that's something that's worth pursuing before we go about it. But this is great information. Thank you for that. That's. That said, again, I like what John said. I kind of like that idea. I asked the rest of the committee as well, but perhaps that's something we could add later. Okay, let's set this up. And as Holly described it, it is essentially what we're making, almost like a digital version of our reference guide, little things we can do. Okay, where do I find this? And that's something I think would be worthwhile for us to, as a committee, discuss, hey, where do we want to do? What do we want to put on this? And that way we can say to Holly, okay, here's what we have. When we get it up there, you make a great point. This letter is great. We shouldn't hold up this letter waiting for that. It's worthwhile to say later, oh, you know what? We had a great letter. Now it's even better. We make it even easier when that time comes. I think that's the direction I think it seems to be, just by the consensus we're headed here. If there's any comments on that or any other.
And just like we did on the quick reference, we can do a cut and paste mock-up to give
Right.
Holly
That's
a starting point, right? And just come next meeting with screenshots, samples, anything you say, and we can cut and paste the mock-up and as a starting point.
Good point. And I know and I'm sure we've talked about Hatfields, we've looked at so many, especially with the resident request portal, we get ideas. It is fascinating, to see different things that they have to offer. And I think what we continue to do is take what we want to make ours most accessible too. But I think that's a great point, John. Rambling now, but to look at different things, to check them out, I'm definitely going to do that again and get more ideas, particularly Hatfield. Thank you for that as well. Any other comments, and is everybody comfortable kind of pursuing that direction with this?
Yep.
Very
Yes,
good.
I'm gonna make that as an agenda item for the next meeting, but
I think so. Another agenda item I would want to propose with this idea is to finish up our welcome idea, perhaps a presentation, and we could then say, hey, here's the information we have. We now have a welcome letter. We have. And I know I've had talks with the boards, and I mentioned it to them in our updates. They know for something that seems to be supported, but I think maybe next agenda item too, we should try to knuckle this down so we can officially make this something that you can actively give out with the township. But definitely put it on next time as well, because we might be able to get to that as well. And even so, I think it's worthwhile to have it on the agenda item. As you mentioned, add a little bit here, add a little bit there to kind of revisit it each time and see what we want to go with that. So yeah, I say add that. Is everybody okay with adding to finalize the whole resident information perhaps that we have together, to put it together and bring it to the board? I think we're there. I think we have the information of how we can locate them and how we can get this out there. Wonderful job on this, everybody, and it's only going to get better as we get our landing page there too. Any other questions or comments on our resident welcome letter packet? Okay,
so,
John.
so final recommendation to the board is the final letter, right? On letterhead as it would go out.
Yeah, I think that's
The quick reference guide, right? Second version, right, the newest quick reference guide. And
Township map.
And the township map,
right?
right? Okay, and that's. Hey, board, here it is. We're done.
I think it's also worthwhile to say our suggestion of how we can find, put in the information that we found, here's what we paid to find this much, this many new residents, and this would be our suggestion. And of course, these are just suggestions. Somebody might say, well, did you try this way or this and that? Could offer something new to us, but I think it's worthwhile to say that this is what we have, and we just want to put that out there, right? And again, we'll fine tune this, I should say, next week or next month. Don't have to be here next week. But that's my take. I don't think we would need anything else in there except maybe some survey results, which led us to this idea, I think. But I think we're pretty covered on that. I think I
Say that, I thought
don't know if we had a
I
specific.
thought we already gave them.
We gave them the survey results, and I know that was part of that led us to this here too. So we can just explain that, based upon our discussions. We'll fine print that. Yeah, I think put that into some words as we did before.
Okay, I'm trying to think whether it takes another month, a month for our next meeting, and then I'm not sure how far after that is the township meeting. I mean,
It's a good way. It would be so officially, I think our next meeting would be the 20th, and the next township meeting would be, so we had the township meeting this morning, up to 7:30 this morning, so.
it's gonna be 2 months.
So it would be, we do have another meeting 2 weeks after our meeting. So then we have our first of the month meeting. So at the first of the month, we have a meeting and a work session on the Tuesday prior to that. So it'd be about 2 weeks after our next meeting. But I think I know where you're going. Do we want to, crank this out right now? Is
Yeah.
that where- I mean, as you say it, that makes sense too.
So close, I mean,
I kind of agree, because what we're gonna do is just kind of talk about our next order of business is that draft letter, which we kind of having, but that's not something we're gonna be able to activate right away. I like your idea to finish this up. Anybody else have any comments on that? Or everybody agree, is that something we could do right now? I would say, you're right, this is more of a priority. So,
Holly is. Are you creating the final version of this, or how do we get the final version, what QR codes on letterhead, et cetera? I mean, what would actually go out, is that you?
I can do that.
Okay,
I've got all the QR codes saved in my
I can,
computer.
I'd be happy to-
I go into the newsletter.
Brad, happy to get you the images, barcode, help you with that if you'd like. Well,
sounds like she has this.
I have,
Yeah,
perfect.
I create them, I've got an app. Create some without any issue,
okay.
and I just save them to my computer.
All right, so if Holly creates the final, right, version of the letter with QR codes on letterhead, right? The updates to the quick reference guide,
Right, version 2 of the quick reference.
right, any idea how long before we could get a handful of those or whatever, I mean, for the board?
We should, it might be possible to have them then, but even if we don't, I think it would be okay even to say, hey, here's what we have, it'll be a nicer version. I mean, just to kind of show it, right, so either way, but you're right, I think if we have that capability, let's get the
Alright.
the new and improved one. But regardless, I think it's worthwhile to show them the sample.
Okay.
I do think the letter, if we can get that. Will be
Right.
appropriate, especially with the
Okay.
QR code, I think would be important.
Right. And then the township map is that in a format that is letter size or something we already use, or is that? That need to be adjusted?
It can be printed, letter size, correct? I know, I believe I've had them printed letter size. before. They would be tiny, so, but would we be able to fold?
See a screen name or anything on
No,
that.
that's true. Will we be able to fold? I might have some, I know they're back there, but will we be able to fold them? To. With the sizes that we have now, do you know, I apologize, do you know I'm asking so many questions, do you know the exact size, let's say this, do you know the size that we have currently? On display?
They're 11 by 17.
Yeah, yes, 11 by 7, so that should fold appropriate. To go into a letter, correct?
Sure, you can fold it in half and then third.
Okay. So I think, yeah, we can definitely provide that. That's the map we provide. Correct.
And will that map folded that way plus? The quick reference guide folded. For a legal, I'm assuming this is going in a normal legal size envelope, right?
If we can get it in that, yes, that's a good point there.
And
too.
then-
We should probably make sure.
And then the other,
Yeah, even if they're all 3 are letter sized,
I would
all
think-
3 into the envelope. I would think it should work.
I would think so, I know,
was thinking
yeah.
that the map may effectively be like 2 layers,
Right.
twice the thickness of a normal.
Like, is it too much for everyone?
I'm just
Yeah.
thinking about it on the mailing cost.
Yeah,
And-
that's what I was
It will
thinking.
Postage.
probably go over 1 ounce. 1 ounce is 66 cents.
so,
After that, I'm looking at 20 something per ounce or per whatever, I don't know.
I
They
think,
change it all the time. They're all getting more for postage every week. So I don't know. I would have to put them all together, weigh it and see what it comes.
so, and I think that's our best bet, is to make sure we have a cost for mailing prior
It's
to.
that big a deal. We know. Weekly or we get June thing.
I think it's still helpful to have, if we know an estimate, hey, it's only gonna cost this much.
Yeah. And to be honest, I was less concerned with the cost and more concerned with is it gonna fit in the envelope?
I'll put it there.
Okay,
So I think it's worthwhile if we can have a sample of how it'll go in an envelope, we'll have that, give the estimate price. It's important too, something I would want to hear.
So are we looking to be able to see that for ourselves? Next meeting then?
do we need to see it again? I mean, we're not changing anything.
We would be able to see a digital version of the paper on letterhead, is that correct? Yeah, so I think if we can do that, just to kind of give a thumbs up, it'll be worthwhile. So someone might say, hey, move that over a little more, bring that higher, that's worthwhile, if we can do that via email, then. We should be ready to go, great point to you, just to make sure we can all confirm.
It's something else when you see it as a package, just might stick out to you.
So,
So,
and then I think another, go ahead, John.
so the next meeting that this could be given to the board is the first? That,
I'll give the exact date. It is. It would be the 5th of March. March 5th. That would be the next work session meeting with the supervisors. And then the 6th would be the next meeting, but this would be work session. And I think another question to pose then is, and I know we kind of put together the letter last time, and it was the first kind of informal, okay, let's present this to the board, and it kind of turned into, let's look down here, and I kind of just read through the fine pinpoints, and gave them a copy of the letter as well. Do we want to have a physical letter and work on a physical letter here, or do we want to say more, just pinpoint Key's interest to say, okay, so, because we pretty much have lost. Yes, so the last time we made a proposal, I think for the resident portal, we wrote an official letter, and I know it took time to kind of construct the letter, and in a good way, we do.
Like a
letters.
letter from us to.
Right, and I think what ended up kind of happening is we send an email perhaps to them to let them know. And have an opportunity to look at it, but it's more, they were asking questions, just kind of fine pointing as we went down there. My question tonight is, do we want to design an entire letter right now again as well? Or should we say, here's the things that we want to say at that meeting? On behalf of the committee, I could say, here are the things that we wanted to point out why we would want this, just to kind of save time now. What does that make sense? What works better? I think to expedite our time to get it done tonight, it might be better to not put a full letter, but to kind of go over our key fine points. And thank you for summing that up. I think that's what I was thinking, because we do good letters, but they do, as you say, might take a meeting or two, and our time wise, I don't mind saying, okay, we'll communicate with each other. Here's everything we have.
Yeah.
Is everybody okay with sending this? Perfect. Now we just fired off a few things that we can make sure we say. So if anybody wants to say, hey, make sure you mention it's good for this reason, or this is why we want to do it, we can add that right now, and I can just bring that to the board's attention when presenting it, if that makes sense there. To save us the time of writing a full letter. I think right away, the first thing we can do is give everybody a copy of it. They'll have that. I will make sure that, I'll have discussions, make sure somebody knows it's coming as well. A few things I want to point out though, just right off the top of my head, is we found out how many new residents do we have? Well, that information should be laid out in the survey as well, but I think it's important to say we had on average, how many was that, John? Over 3 months there?
I think we had estimated between like 60 and 100 over a 3-month period. I think based on the numbers you were seeing and the numbers I was seeing.
100,
50.
Now it's per 3 months,
6 months.
6 months, okay.
6 months.
We have 100, 101 to 150 new residents. 6 months. I think another question that might come out would be, how often do we plan on sending them out?
I thought we had settled on 3 months.
I like that too, just to confirm. 3 months. Any other fine points we want to add? I'm sure.
Where did this all start?
That's what I was wondering if it was a survey.
You bring it to this committee as an idea, and if so, because it didn't come out of our
Yeah,
survey.
I can't add because it would be new residents, it wouldn't have been
Right.
specifically.
Yeah,
I think, I think at one of our meetings, we talked about how to get information to new residents, people moving in. We didn't know how to contact them. So,
Brainstorming,
Yeah,
I think we
yeah.
collectively came up
Right.
with that idea. So yeah, and I think that's worthwhile to add, that we brainstorm new ideas and to reach. That's really did how it came about. Again, we had, through discussions that I've had with the board, keeping them in the loop of what we were doing seemed to be positive. And if we wanted to do something like that, here's what we have. We know there's 100 to 150 new residents every 6 months. Here's how we get that information, present that as well. We figure a 3 months distribution. We're looking at 66 to 86 cents per new person as of now, depending, but we'll have that information in front of us as well. And I think it speaks for itself, really. I mean, there's more I could say. I obviously would like to take your input if you have any, but again, I think saying you have it in front of you, really, I think everything we're putting in here is good. I think the chairman's letter is great. It's a great way to reach somebody and connect them with our township. And I'm okay presenting it just as such. If we want to add
Yeah.
anything else that's worthwhile.
I think it's fine if you have those three elements, they obviously go together and
Sure.
I don't think you need any kind of a cover letter or anything.
I think that's great now.
I feel like the reason for doing this is to, I guess the piece of information that we don't have that would be nice to have is how long how long it takes a new resident to find the website or the things we're pointing them to. I mean, ultimately they will, right? It comes out in the mailing newsletter, right? They definitely would give the Indian Valley newsletter and the stuff that comes out in the mail, right? Which is once a year or twice a year.
Twice a year for Indian Valley, so they're getting 4 newsletters a year.
There are those
And they're
strategies
staggered.
too.
I just happened to move in, like I moved in like a year and a half ago, and I happened to get that like right after I moved in, so I thought it was like something that came, so I was like, oh, this is great.
This is magic.
But like, it wasn't, it just happened to be in the end of September, October, and
But if you miss that, in your case, if you had moved just after that came out, then how long before a new resident gets directed to these, because once they get on constant contact, or once they, find the website, then the problem is solved, right? But it's getting to them, those sources sooner rather than later. Right, worst case scenario, and I'm just brainstorming here, worst case scenario is it's a year, right? I mean, you miss a key mailing like that and it's a year. Maybe it's 6 months or 3 months, right? If we're pushing things out via mail to them, right? So, to get it, right? So worst case scenario, it's a year and you're shortcutting that year, right? You're getting them to this stuff, much faster than a year. Best case scenario, let's say it's 3 months. If there's some mailing or other going out, every 3 months, right? Then maybe this is timed somewhere that is kind of in between there, right? So that you shrink it even further. So theoretically, new residents, find out about constant contact and they get on the constant contact list and they find out about the website in half the time that they might have otherwise. Right? And that's in my mind is the selling point, right? Is you're getting those new residents to this information in less time, whatever that is, but less time than if you wait for them to find out about it through the normal mailings.
That's a good point as well. And it's interesting, as you said that too, I think, cool, I was starting to recall other things that brought us to this welcome letter. As you said, how do we get this to people to know what we have to offer? If you recall, I remember and I know we've discussed it here. There was one of our apartment complexes. They said that people didn't know that there was a pool. Like they didn't know there was a pool nearby. And if you've lived here your whole life, or if you've lived here for a decade or a year and a half, you don't think that. That's true. There are people who might be coming from, well, obviously coming from somewhere else, but let's say getting right off the extension, going right to their apartment, then going right back home, or going to where their family, is. Their family is, maybe they might not have a big family, so they're going to their parents, this and that. They didn't realize, oh, you know what? There's a community pool here. I might not have to make that trip. We can bring the kids here. Also, the benefits that we have is the fire company too. They might not realize, oh, we have a local fire company. I could be involved with that. These are the things I think that really brought us to that idea is how do we let them know, which you're right. And I think that's what I'm just saying. I think that's what led us to this. And that alone too is a great selling point. This is a real need that people don't know these things. It's just one additional option to get there.
But I think what really makes us different is that gap there, right? Because
Yeah.
even people who are driving by things and not finding them, if they're here for a while, they're gonna get a newsletter. Right? If they're here for a while, they're gonna get the Indian Valley. If they're here for a while, right?
Right.
But, this is about that really early on time period, from the time you move in to when you really start to get those other mailings and become aware of things through those other channels, those other communication channels.
Yeah. I think that's a great point there. I think it's gonna be a good thing too, it's a great opportunity to have. It's personal too, it's not just that newsletter because, hey, look at this one, it says, dear new resident, that's me.
It's kind of like opening the door before they have to knock on it.
It's a nice gesture.
And you're absolutely, it's not a general mailing, right? It's specifically addressed this person.
Right. And I think what our chairman did, just putting in more personal, well, this is that, if you're feeling part of the community, that's really what we want to let people feel more welcome, not more welcome, but feel, oh yeah, let's go to the website, check it out, feel more.
Get connected to the community a little bit faster than if you don't.
Yes, and I think that is good. No, I think these are great things. I think this will help, yes. I think another thing that will really help too, just, this isn't to sell it, but if we do, once this does go forward, this will be great for particularly, apartments, as we bring that up again too, because they're constantly having somebody come in. Guess what? We can give a copy of this letter directly to each one of those. We should write down there too, because that's a good idea, make sure they have it, so they can include it, something that they can have. And I think a couple people asked, they have their resident welcome letters, well, now they have one from the township. So not only did I just move into this facility, but I moved into a community here. I think that's a great opportunity for. Good stuff. Any other comments
Okay.
or anything else to add?
The target is for you to do this presentation at the March 5th.
How we can add it to the agenda? And we'll actually have another work session meeting prior to our next meeting too. We'll have 2 meetings there, but the March 5th one is the soonest one. Yeah, and just to summarize, I know I did say it, I'm not gonna repeat again, but 150 new residents, 3 months distribution, brainstorm. We brainstorm this, it's something that people want, we're selling it. We want to try to fill in that gap. So they do not have to keep waiting as well.
I think it's kind of nice that one of the first things they're gonna get is gonna be something that points out all the positives of the community. I mean, first thing I might be expecting is like a big tax bill, or, instead it's gonna be this, well, our community, there's all these resources.
Yeah,
I think that'll be a nice thing.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think this is, it's a great gesture, and great job everybody putting this together and everybody's work on this. Any other comments on our welcome letter? Excited about it. Very good. Okay. Thank you. I guess our next order of business would be completing a draft letter to possible venues. I'd be okay even tabling this one now. But on that note, we do have a copy in front of us. One thing that we can do as well. I do plan on dropping these things off. I think it's a great, I enjoyed, it was an easy day. All my kids are in school now, so I can't bring one with me, but I was just thinking, I took my little one around, but either way, it's not a big deal to drop these off and, just. I kind of see in conversation, because I do know some of the managers and recognize those, they'd be open to something like that, to kind of add to this as well. And maybe help us when we come back next month on how to approach this. But I don't want to just throw it aside completely, because it is a good idea. And this is, again, it's just a letter we can reach out to different facilities and see if they would like to have our meetings offsite.
I have a few edits.
Yes,
Better.
please, go ahead.
Okay. The first one, I think it should say, to take their monthly meeting out to, it should be our community. Because we're part of the community.
Very good.
You see what I mean, the first,
Out
Say
to
that again?
our.
sure. In the brackets where it says on the road / out to our community locations, I would choose the out to our community, but I put the word our in there.
I also feel like, just so that it, we're signing it from the committee, so saying there, so,
Right, and that's
like it should be our. meeting.
everything, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go down like the next paragraph. I have quite a few edits here. The next,
it's worth bringing them up tonight too, if that's okay. I think that way. It's fine.
yeah, the first sentence, the communication committee objective is to improve communications, no S in communications there. Between the township, and it should be our residents again. Then the next sentence, the committee should be capitalized. And then the third sentence, throughout the township should be capitalized. And then the next sentence, give members of your community should be our community. To contribute your insight, ideas, and offer your perspective, so there should be your.
You were twice there.
Yeah.
Very good.
And then
Thanks.
this,
You were,
I'll give you this
you
too.
were for there and you were for that there.
And then the second to last paragraph, we encourage that one. At the end, it should be our residents, not its residents. Did you want this with that help? Do you need this, John?
Done with the copy.
You want this?
Yeah.
You saw.
Mhm.
Sorry, great.
Mm.
All this, elementary school, north side. Three marks.
Sorry about that.
No. Very good, though. That's a great point. Yes, you were coming and we just in agreement with that, I
Yeah,
think. Yes.
So in the first sentence, I think the reason for the bracket was because it was,
We hadn't
We're still-
decided.
Right.
We hadn't decided yet. I don't know how it feels, but I think we should go with that, our community.
I think that's. That's good. And you were with there, because it, just as we were literally saying, the resident. It's much more personal. And again, I think we can I actually encourage everybody to take a look at this, if anything else they want to add now to this. But I think this is a good start for next month then. I'm in a hurry too, but I don't want to keep everybody else here. Any other comments on this? Again, reading it one more time. And I may, if anybody has comments after this, to bring them next month as well. That could work, but if anybody has anything they see now. Additionally. I think the only other thing, yes, I don't want to get too far ahead, but if you can put our email on the bottom, it's the other one, in addition to the letterhead at the top. That'd be the only thing I can see right. Anything else?
on this one, though, we use our committee
I would make
email.
a communication one, right?
The other one was the township.
Township, yes. Think we're okay with the rest of that for next month then as well? Very good. I'm excited for the resident welcome opportunity. Thank you again, everybody, for that. I will definitely keep everybody updated. If you'd like to come to our 7:30 in the morning meeting, you're welcome to join us then as well. We'll see you again later at 7:30 PM.
I want to.
Fair enough, there. Okay, with that, do we have anything else we'd like to add for tonight's meeting here? Are we off for public comment again? Just because I wanted to again, thank you all for trusting me, as chair, and again, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate your team do a great job with secretary, but I really do appreciate you guys, Perry as well. So thank you for all your work. I'll appreciate you here, especially your ideas today.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to that as well, getting those letters out to the pirates. All right,
Very good.
very good. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move.
Terry moves. Do we have a second?
Thank
All in favor, say aye.
I.
Opposed? Welcome to stick around, but I think that's everybody here as well. Thank you, everybody. Great.
Not really.